We'll be redoing the list of no pixel gangs. This is based on a viewer. Maybe one day I'll be on no pixel. Who knows? Um, and I think this is going to be a pretty good list because this is I've watched mostly RM, mostly, though I do watch sometimes CG and Mandem. Well, Mandem I used to watch when Dave Perry and Stacy were still around. That's a long time ago. That's like a year ago. Um, so that's a long time ago. A lot have changed. You know, they have new members. Roadman happened, and that all that stuff was gone, and I was gone, and so they have new stuff around. But the criteria of this list is gonna be, well, four things, right? First is gonna be businesses. Second is gonna be war. Three is gonna be the bigger picture and how much I could see this gang flourish and how much I can see them being in the city and not, not existing anymore, because some of these gangs might not exist anymore. That's what happens. And four is, this is gonna be not. It's not gonna really change. It might change maybe a tier, but also the role play characters, the characters that provide good role play. And I mean every character does, but like more like fun, non-serious stuff, which it will may up you a level. But the most of this list is seeing the bigger picture, right? See, it's all about viewing the future, right? So when I see, because I think 4.0 is going to be released in like 7, 8 ish months, 9 maybe. I say maybe the summer of next year. And this is, I think, a list that's mostly just looking at what's gonna be coming ahead and what business that they could get improved, and what type of people they have, like civs and stuff like that as well. It's gonna be taken account to, and other things as well. But it's mostly looking at the future and how the gang could become, but also looking at the present too. So looking at the present and looking at the future. It's not really looking at the past or so. If the only thing I'm gonna take with the things is like maybe someone leaving, not being there anymore, and seeing how could they move forward. That things could be taken account of, but nothing like very major. We're not gonna look in 20 years into the past or when CG started or when Vago started. That's not for me. That's just not. That's not really an excuse or viable thing. I'm gonna take account how much they've been in the city. That's a big thing for me. That's a big thing, because how long you stay in the city. It makes sense that you're gonna stay longer, right? Longevity is a key thing here as well. So the Angels is we're gonna start off this list. So the Angels, the first one on this list. I'm not gonna make Z tier like I did last time. That was just for a joke, right? We're not gonna make Z tier. I don't think I'm gonna make D plus or D minus. I'm gonna go a bit differently this time. We're gonna make a bit more different video this time, right? Right. So I think the Angels. The Angels are no war experts, right? And I probably said in the previous video, they're not war experts. They do have, they have Lexi and Claire, and really that's all I know. I know they have a dog as well. But they're more of like a civ gang, right? They're not really more of a war gang, and I don't expect them going to war and really doing that great. But they definitely have the amount of experience in the city. So experience in the city, and I think they'll definitely be in the city for a longer time. So I do think they're going to be C tier. Like I said, I don't think they do anything major to change in the city, but I don't think they're below C tier, just because if they did have a war experience, I do think they could be B, right? Like a tier ahead. Like war is not going to go into A tier. War is not the major thing of changing of how good you are and how good things you do in the city, right? War is a thing. It's a mechanism, but it's not like it changes you to being the most best gang in the world. It does have a contrast, but it doesn't make you like complete OP, right? So C tier for the Angels. I think it makes sense. I think they have good role players, role characters, and I just think with experience with war, they could really be stand out with most groups. I think they do stand out though. They do stand out. It's just they're not really, for me, they got the experience and they just lack a few things, right? Aztecas, I don't think the Aztecas are around anymore. I don't think the Aztecas are around anymore. So F tier for Aztecas. I haven't heard of Aztecas in a long, long time. They've been around a long time though, but I haven't heard anything about them. So, and plus nothing really serious businesses. War, they're kind of So even if they were around, I think I put them at most E tier, right? Yeah. Grove Street Ballers. Most people will think, why am I putting Grove Street Ballers with the Angels when Grove Street Ballers are really great in war? They don't really have any businesses, right? And in the future, I don't really see them having a lot of businesses and standing out a lot in like a group. Like I don't know. I don't really see them really being that front group that's gonna stand out and everyone's gonna know them really. I don't know. I think they're just most known for war, and I do think they would beat the Angels in war. But you gotta look at the other aspects of different things. They haven't got a person like Claire in their group, I don't think. So, you gotta look at different things in each different group because each different group does different things, right? They do their own little things. And the Angels and the Grove Street Ballers are definitely not the same. In war, I'll do a war ranking war list after this, right? But this is looking at everything, right? And in the bigger picture, I don't know if Grove Street Ballers are gonna like really flourish, because there's so many Southside gangs. Bondi Boys, and this may surprise a few, but I'm putting Bondi Boys. I may put them to A tier. The reason why I'm not putting Bondi Boys in A tier, probably will put them in A tier at the end of this video because I'm gonna probably redo again this list in more, the way I think it's gonna be. But the reason why I don't know who's gonna move forwards without, like, Dundee's obviously gone. I don't know who's gonna really move forwards. Bondi Boys. I think Bondi Boys have a strong connection even without him. I just don't really know what way they can move forwards. I understand they're still a strong gang, right? Actually, looking at that, they're still a strong gang without even like their leader. I think they're low A tier, I say. Like, they still got a Vespucci, and they still own a lot of different things. Yeah, I still think they're A tier even without. It's pretty much if Speedy was gone from Vagos, I think Vagos will still be very. They're still like a gang that's already produced and showed what they can do, right? Like, they don't need to show anything more. They don't need a leader there, right? They already are showing what they can do, right? That's my opinion. Even what happened. So I still think, looking at the future, they could still look very, very strong, in my opinion. I don't think there's just a tier ahead the Angels and Grove Street Ballers. I think that'd just be very. I'm de-ranking them. I don't think they're that. BSK are D tier for me. I think businesses, they haven't really got anything. War, I think they would lose against Grove Street Ballers. I'm not trying to be bad, but I do think they would lose against Grove Street Ballers. So they haven't really got anything. And bigger picture, I think they probably may struggle in the future. I believe they may struggle. Not saying they will, but they may struggle in the future. Just looking, I think a lot of their people want to go to gangs that have more, they can reach more potential with. I think BSK are somewhere stuck in the middle. They don't know where they are. I don't know. Maybe I'm ranking BSK, but I just feel like BSK are just stuck there, and obviously I think they have cream pie, but I don't think that's doing really well too. I don't know. BSK are just stuck somewhere and they don't really know where to put their foot, and they may lose a few members too. That's where I'm kind of. They have a few good members, so not a few, but they have a lot of good members, and they could lose them. That could make them put them in a very tricky position. Chang-gang, oh come on, Chang-gang are S tier. Like, come on, Chang-gang are the perfect gang in the city. Like, they got everything. They got perfect members. The future looks bright because they have money and everything, power, status, role play, characters, everything. They can be serious and fun. They can fight any of these gangs and still provide good fun because they'll probably win. They'll probably know they have the advantage. Let's be honest. They're fighting RM right now, and RM's A team will not beat Jang Gang's B team, right? Just because Chang Gang are not gonna take it seriously. If they are gonna take it serious, they probably will beat them at ease. But Royal Mafia still, we'll come back to that war. But any war really, they're gonna provide fun, and if they see that one person is becoming very serious, then they'll up the game, right? But most of the time, they'll do everything for fun. They see that another gang is way weaker than them or weaker than them, and they're like, they're just gonna step back and just have fun. That's what they do, and I like Chang Gang. Chang Gang are very fun to watch, and they're strong. Like, look how much businesses they have. Like I said, like the bigger picture, they look like a gang that's still gonna become stronger and stronger, in my opinion. Clean Boys. Clean Boys is B tier for me. I don't really think Clean Boys will be an A tier for me, just bases on. I think they would be. I don't know. I've like, there's not been much around. Lang has been around. Cerberus is more what CB's technically now. I still think they're a pretty good gang and what they do, but they're pretty much like the Angels right now. Really, they got a few. If the Angels had Lang, right, that's pretty much CB. And I'm not trying to be bad, but that's pretty much CB. I still think they got a lot of businesses, right? And I might come back and put them in A tier. And I think Lang is a very strong leader. I think Lang is probably the third strongest leader. If I had to rank, I would rank first would probably be, obviously, Mr. K. Second would probably be Speedy. And third would probably be Lang. That's might be my top three. Four may probably be Rudy or... probably be Rudy, I say, yeah, 4. So yeah, that would be my top 3. And CB has been doing pretty well. I think CB has been doing pretty well in terms of like Cerberus, but like I said, and Mickey I think is in there, so. But there's nothing that makes them stand out at this point. I don't think there's gonna make them anything stand out at the end of 3.0. 4.0 could not necessarily they will, but could put them in 80. Could. Yeah, that's my opinion. They're still pretty good. B is still pretty good. B is like above average, right? C is average. D is below average. E is E and F are just. E is just you're pretty bad, and F is just you're non-existent or you're just really bad. The clowns for now I'm gonna put them in E tier, and the reason why I'm gonna put the clowns in E tier is good characters, great roleplay. I love SBS. They have great SBS and everything. And they might be, the thing is, they're going to be at the start of V or at the low of D, right? I don't know if I could put them at the same level of BSK just looking at it. But again, I do think that the clowns will be around in the future just because they're a gang, like, having fun. And they look like a more connected gang than, like, the Blocks. For me, like, the Blocks are just more friends. You could say they're friends, but I feel like they have, like, a connection because, like, they're clowns and everything, and they got their own personalities and stuff like that. And Kirk is funny. I love Kirk. It's just, I think they're very, they bring something different to the city, right? And that's why I may put them at the end of the video. I may put them in like D tier, so just because that's my opinion, right? I'm looking at a lot of different things, I don't think they have like major businesses or they're great in war and sort of stuff like that, but I just think they're a gang that doesn't have a lot of fun like other gangs have, so that's my opinion, right? Gulag Gang are B tier for me. They have a potential to be A tier. I just don't know what's missing for Gulag Gang at this point. I think maybe the experience is missing, and that's what holds them back from me putting them in A tier. Just the experience, but I would put them ahead of CB in my opinion. I think just the experience is just what's missing for Gulag Gang at this point. I just think they need the experience to be A tier, right? And Marty's doing a very good job with the gang. I think he's doing a very good job, and you know, I think they got a lot of good characters in the group as well. Like Ratchet is pretty fun. So yeah, B tier is I think pretty fine for them. I haven't really got much to say about Gulag Gang just because I feel like they have a very strong presence, but there's nothing that they do with that is super amazing, right? Just as yet. Maybe 4.0 that may change. But I think at the end of 3.0 they're always going to be the best of the rest. When we have S and A, they're going to be like B, but they're best of the rest for B, you know. HOA. HOA for me are very similar to CB. They got a lot of... The thing is, they got a lot of people too, right? But again, they're not really known for war and stuff like that. And they're mostly just known for, being a gang that's concentrated on business, concentrated on civ thingies, or just selling guns and sort of stuff like that. And they're not really known to be, a gang that's in war. And even I think if they were big known, I don't think they would be stronger than Gulag Gang. Maybe they would, I don't know. They probably would, yeah. They probably would. That would just be a tier. They would just be A tier, I guess, for me. But yeah, they've been around a long time too, and I think they're definitely gonna stick around as a gang. It's just it's hard to rank them just basis on I just know very few little things about them, and yeah, and I don't know. Sis been around a lot because I feel like Sis has not been like around as much for HOA. So that kind of makes me, I know I think didn't I'm kind of being confused right here. But I don't know. It's very hard to because don't really watch much HOA. And I feel like the narrative I know about HOA is like I know them just for mostly doing like selling guns and stuff like that, and not really for anything else really out. And then I know for other few things, but nothing really major. Hydra is hard to rank, but I think Hydra is the second strongest umbrella gang. Obviously, the third being Street Team, but I think they're behind. But I think they'd be like B minus. They'd be like the end of B really for me. They're strong. They have good members. But again, I think they're mostly just an umbrella gang, and I think Flippy said that he would shoot Hydra members instead of Mr. K. That's kind of rubs me off a bit. So that could put you at C tier. But I mean, Flippy is Chang Gang, so you weigh up the options. He still considers himself Chang Gang. But again, I don't know. As a leader, you might. It's hard to. That's the thing. It's hard to rank Hydra, and it's hard to rank just because of that comment. Because people's opinion may change over time. Especially as a gang gets bigger and bigger and gets more experience, and gets more well known in the city, as Hydra is right now. And Hydra is known as being stronger than Street Team, in my opinion. Street Team is basically just Street Team to Hydra. Really. But yeah. Mayhem. I heard a bit about Mayhem. But I don't, again, I haven't heard much about them. So, I know they're another biker gang. I think I'd already said this, but I don't really know much about them still. And I don't really know much about the future. I mean, they may still be there, but again, how much really, who are they going to really, the thing is, for them it's very hard to actually get into conflict because they're the only gang there. And the conflict they will do is I don't think they have their own compound and stuff like that. So it's very hard for them to do really much. I don't know. I feel like they're in a very tricky position. That's my opinion. Marabunta. I still think Marabunta are C tier. Without Sergio, it's going to be very, very interesting how they move forwards at the end of 3.0. I still think they're very strong. I put them at the same level as Grove Street Ballers in this game. They're at the same level as they're very good in war. but they have a very troubled businesses. They don't have really much businesses, and they're very kind of just a one-sided group of just doing that one thing, right? Sergio will see how that will play on who's gonna really take the charge. Again, I'm not very into like very saw a lot of Marabunta Grande, but as much as I know, they're a pretty connected gang, and that that's all I really got to say about them. Mortel at the end of E tier. You can put them at the start of F tier. I don't know. For me, Mortel has been like a gang. They're more like a street team gang than a gang really. And I feel like they lack being connected a lot of the times. Obviously lack war experience, and the only war experience they had was against PG-18, which is honestly F tier gang, and Royal Mafia, which was a long time ago at this point, and it's hard to rank them at this point because they're still here, which just shows that they're still connected, even though there was a point where they were almost gone, and that's where the worry is. Why I want to put them in F tier, because the worry is that I do believe that they could be F tier, and most of them, why I think they are what they are is because of other gangs, and I don't want to be bad, but that's because of it. And on this point, I don't really see them much. I do see them, but they're really rarely around. I don't know. I still put them at the end of E- tier, but like, I don't know. I know Cindy's been, but I don't know. I don't think Cindy's very strong leader in my opinion. Natural Born Crackheads or NBC. NBC are probably B tier, just behind Gulag Gang. Actually, no, I put them. This is very hard because these two gangs are better than these three when it comes to it. Not just war, but just the whole thing of. I think NBC have James Arsenal, who's very connected in the city. They got a lot of different other members. They're very unique. They got Crackhead Craig and all, and so they're kind of very gang that's very peculiar and very different about them. That's what I want to say about NBC. I think NBC in the future looks like it's very hard to tell which road they will go, because for me, it's like they're either gonna lose a bit of members or they're either gonna flourish and be very, very good. Like they may even have a war against Mandem. Maybe may that happen. Who will win, NBC or Mandem? That's a very, very interesting question. I do think Mandem probably would edge it though, against NBC, just because I think Mandem have honestly taken a bit of a leap forwards. In terms of war, I think they gained the experience. Obviously, not finding the best groups, but they have gained experience. So I don't know. And where they gain experience is because of comps. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying they're like the best shooters. You don't have to have the best shooters. World class shooters who are great like at Valorant and Call of Duty and all of that to be great at shooting. They have just great comps, That's what plays a part. PD gang is SSS tier. They're the 4 quadruple S tier. Like they're up there with Chang Gang. Like PD gang is just if you put all the PD like the sheriff's office and everything, it's just S tier. Like they're powerful as heck. Like how much members do they have if you put everything together? Like they probably have the most members, or not maybe the most members like of all gangs, but they probably have like definitely members that you could fill up like 4 gangs. So, and they're all are very kind of, like, you know about PD Gang. Let's be honest, we all know about PD Gang. And let's be honest, PD Gang are gonna be here for the future. Let's be honest. There's definitely PD Gang is definitely not gonna lose anything going forward. They're definitely not gonna lose everything. You know, they're either gonna stay neutral or gonna get even stronger. So they're definitely not gonna go backwards. So, so let's be honest with that. Royal Mafia, a guy who loves Royal Mafia, a guy who's a RM viewer. Am I going to be biased and put RM higher tier than they are? I am going to put them higher tier than they are. I'm going to put them at C tier, honestly. And the reason why I'm putting them, no, I'm going to put them at the start of C tier. And people are going to say, but they're no way near Hydra. How are you put them near Hydra? Why are they this? I just think you don't have to look at war. Yes, Hydra would probably beat Royal Mafia in war, but just the whole, there's roleplay aspects, there's character aspects, there's Civs aspects to comes to it as well. I talked it out before. I'm just gonna say here in short, they got great members. Shivy's a great member. Reginald Watson is a great member. Steven, Kayla, Chris, just the whole foundation of the members, like J-Rock. Every member has a different personality, you know? And I already talked about someone here that every member has a different personality. I think I talked about the clowns, but the difference why the clowns are not what Royal Mafia is, in my opinion, is because I do believe Royal Mafia are doing very decent against Changang in this war. They are doing very good. Comparing that, obviously Changang are probably not going 100%, but they're still gaining that respect of Changang and showing that, you know, they're not nothing to be messed around. Even with having only 4-5 members around, sometimes even less, they're still putting up a show. They're still putting up a fight. They're creative. I love Sid. You know, I think Jugs plays a very, very good character leader. That's no one is similar to him. Let's be honest. I think he's impulsive. I think he has a great mindset. I think he, even though I think a lot of people don't appreciate his character. I think just because of a leader, he's maybe like an entertainer. But I still think he's a very, very good person to have. And they also have Ursula. For Tony, you could say still put as Royal Mafia, and he has FS Holdings. I think I talked about this, but I'm just gonna say it in short. And I think if Victor goes towards the road of Rosa, B tier for me. I think they're becoming something like a what Street Team lack. You know what Street Team lack, because Street Team don't have the members that Royal Mafia has in terms of like civs and in terms of even having. I like they have Pigeon, but Pigeon in jail, and I don't really know much members outside of that. Mercury as well, but outside of those three, I don't really know anyone else. You know, so Royal Mafia for me seems, and it's biased. I'm gonna be honest, it's biased for me. But they have kind of the whole aspect of what roleplay is. Rust. Rust is C tier. The reason why Rust is C tier, I think Rust have not the greatest comms when it comes to war. I don't really know how the future looks like. It's very up and down. Ray as a leader is up and down too. I like Kem a lot. And they have another member that I like a lot too. I need to look the member up that I do like as well. Because I forgot her name, but she's very cool and she helped. I think she helped NBC and Mandem a few times. What's her name? I'm gonna quickly look this up. Rust GTRP. There's a member that I think she does like hacks. I think maybe mistaken. I think she does, but I forgot her name. She was involved with Royal Mafia. Sydney Leon. She's pretty cool. I think she's very good character too. Like I always see her calm, collected, not not starting shit, which is cool as a character, because I feel like everyone wants to start shit and she doesn't really do that, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, they have got very good members too, right? They got very good members too. But and I think what makes them unique is having unique members too, as Royal Mafia does. But I do still think they lack a lot in comms, and I think if Royal Mafia and Rust did have a fight, I don't think they should, because Royal Mafia, I think Rust and Royal Mafia should have an alliance. Well, not an alliance, but I think they should be what Kem is doing with Royal Mafia, giving them, a bit of exposure, and I think Royal Mafia could give a bit to Rust and a few things too with their members. I think it's good for them, because I think they're both stuck in that kind of, I think they're better than all these gangs because they have different things, Rust and Royal Mafia, but I think they need to share a bit of different things. Obviously, Royal Mafia is not registered, and you can put that, but I do think they're going to get registered and get a flag in the future. I think they're probably the next gang who I think will get registered and get a flag, in my opinion. Saver Souls. I haven't heard much about Saver Souls. I know they reside near Seaside. I put them along where Mortel is. I can't really put them in F tier, just bases on even though they had lack a lot of things, there's still few members always around, and they're like probably not great at war, and they're probably awful at war, but I don't know, they're probably the same level as Mortel. You could put them in F tier. Like, I don't really care if they're at the end of E tier or at the start of F tier. The E tier for me is just like some of this E tier, like let's separate Mayhem and Clowns. This is just basically E minus, really. It's just they're not F tier, but they're kind of F tier. But again, if they face like PG-18 and gangs like who are the new gangs out there? There's a few other gangs just formed that I forgot. There's other few gangs that formed, and they probably beat these newer gangs. They just have a bit more experience. Again, Save Our Souls is kind of new too. Seaside. Talking about Seaside. Seaside is very hard for me to place, because you know what? I'm putting Gulag Gang in A tier. I said I'm looking at the bigger picture, right? I'm looking at the bigger picture. I think Marty's putting them in a very good position. I do like Gulag Gang a lot. So I gotta put them. I'm thinking this through my head, and I'm putting them in an A tier because I'm looking at the bigger picture. I do think Gulag Gang will end up A tier. Like, I do think they're gonna get stronger and stronger, right? Seaside are for me. They lost Ash, and for me, Ash is a bigger loss than even Benji is. Yep, for me, Ash is a bigger loss than Benji is. I said that. I do still think Seaside will still be connected. And in war, they're obviously going to be always great. They're always going to be great, and that's the reason I still think... I think actually Gulag Gang... Yeah, I think if looking at the future, I still think Gulag Gang may become more connected as a gang than Seaside will. That's how I'm going to put it. I even could put Gulag Gang over, but nah, I'm not going to put a Gulag Gang on Bundle Boys. I think Bundle Boys are going to be connected even with how much losses they will have, right? Seaside, I don't know about Seaside are very tricky for me to rank. I could rank them at the start of B or at the end of A. And it's very kind of hard to are they going to really... Ash is a very big loss in my opinion. Ash is for me more of a leader than Benji is. I don't know. I'll put them at A, end of A2, just because of how strong they are. Sinister Souls is F tier. Sinister Souls is even... I know they reside in Casino, but I haven't heard much about them at all. At least I heard about Mortels and Saver Souls. I haven't heard anything about Sinister Souls. The heck? SN or D tier? They'll probably be just ahead of BSK. SN or D tier for me, just because they're like an umbrella gang for Street Team, aren't they? Like they're in the registered app for Street Team. I don't know. They seem very... In war, they seem very decent, right? In war, they might cause trouble for Ballas. They might cause trouble for MG. They may cause trouble for Royal Mafia. They may cause trouble for Rust. But except that, what do they really have? You know? And that's where you look at the bigger picture. I don't know if SN will stick in for the bigger picture. For the long term. I don't know if they have like that lateral consistency of sticking and being that group that's gonna go forth and just motivate themselves. I don't know. That's a very questionable thing with SN. So I gotta put them below average, right? I think they have good things about them, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that I can't really place my hands on yet to rank them further up. So street team or C tier? Oh no, not D tier. C tier. I think they'll probably be here. If I had to rank this accurately, no, I put MG here. Grove Street Ball is probably ahead. Yeah, I think that's pretty much correct. I think Street Team are C tier. I think Street Team have good members. I think Jalen coming back is Jalen coming back actually makes me rank them above Grove Street Balls. I think Jalen coming back makes me they're about the same rank, Grove Street Balls and Street. I think him coming back makes a big difference because I think Street Team would be here or below SN. But him coming back is a very big thing. I don't think Pigeon and Mercury, who was leading, were very good leaders. I think they were all over the place and they couldn't really decide. Pigeon wanted this, Mercury wanted that, and it was very all over. It was just they weren't really anywhere in the same head, right? And that's what makes you worry. I still think Street Team are gonna, especially with Jalen, he's gonna just bring more, experience. Obviously, being a Chan Gang member, if it's gonna bring experience and bring the thing, he's gonna brainstorm ideas more what how Street Team should go forwards, and he's gonna be far more interested in Street Team's values and morals than what Pigeon and Mercury would. I think Pigeon and Mercury could have destroyed Street Team. They didn't, but they could have how things were moving, but they didn't. So I still think Street Team are C tier. Average is perfectly fine because they're an average gang, in my opinion. The blocks are F tier. I think this is really, the blocks are F tier. I didn't what the heck is this? Oh my god. Ignore this for a second. There's always something happens in these videos, don't they? I don't really want to re-record this, but something's going on. Oh, come on. Oh my god, the antivirus stuff. Okay. Everything happens in these videos. Always something happens. It's either someone calling me. It's either some antivirus stuff. It's either I have to charge my laptop and I'm gone for 30-40 minutes or so. It's everything happens in these videos. It's so funny. I don't know why this happens, but it does. It's so funny. GSF are C tier to me as well. And I think GSF are honestly, for me, they're a gang that probably is going to be here. I don't think GSF moving forwards, their leader's not been around as long. Come on, their leader's not been. When the last time I see their leader, and even forgot his name. What's the leader's name? I forgot his name. I'm gonna have to look this up. What's their leader's name again? I forgot his name. Dex. Dex's name, right? So I haven't seen Dex in a long time. So how am I supposed to rank them very high? At this point, I don't know what way they're gonna move forwards. Especially, I think Billy Sprinkle's a very good character. Don't get me wrong, Billy Sprinkle's a good character, and they always provide great role play and great characters. Obviously, there's a few characters that are very stuck up with what they do, but I do think they bring a bit of different characters into it. But I just don't know in terms of how they're gonna move forwards. I really don't know how they're gonna move forwards when their leader's not never there, and they're not a gang like Seaside. They're not a gang like Bondi Boys where they're strong in everywhere. Really, they're not a gang for me HOA. So I don't know. I don't know. There's so much unknown entity that's going on through GSF that's very hard to place. I could even place them D tier behind BSK. Really, I want to place them there because of how much things that could happen. at the end of 3.0. I don't know. I have some kind of feeling about it. The lost a few members, but again, the Lost are another gang. I put them as close to Seaside. They're another gang that are already known for what they do. They're already, yes, you could say they don't have many wars because they're where they reside in the same you could place as Mayhem, right? But they've been around for so long. They're gonna be around for longer. Everyone knows who they are. Rudy. I don't think Rudy has to be around long time. And I still believe, even losing those members, they're still gonna come back stronger than they ever will, because they're a gang that a lot of people know, a lot of people won't want to join because of how they're known as, right? It's the thing is, they'll teach new members, they'll teach other members how to move, in accordance to them. It's just how it is, And the Lost are strong, and it will always be strong. And I think a lot of people will say, "How are you putting A in the Lost side?" And all of these people. It's because when you're already a strong gang, powerful gang, a strong gang that knows what they're doing, you're even losing members, you're still gonna find new members, and you're gonna readapt them to your own gang, right? That's how it is. The Mandem are A tier. The Mandem are A tier, and I put them just ahead of the Lost. And obviously they provide good roleplay for me. For me, they're kind of a gang that doesn't jump board to fights, doesn't jump up to wars. And when you have a war, they always bring like that fun thing about SBSC type of thing, which is cool. I don't think every gang should be serious and stuff like that. I think mixture of both is very good, and I think that's what the Lost bring. That's what I want to add about the Lost. The Mandem have blown my eyes. I think Adam's probably been a better leader than even Tommy has, in my opinion. He's been a good second in command. I think he's leading the Mandem into very strong places. I think the Mandem have always been headstrong, in my opinion. They always wanted to prove people wrong, and that's where I have like similarities to Royal Mafia in a way where a few members are wanting to showcase their talents, right? Showcase what they could do, and that's what the Mandem have. I love Winston. And Patar, obviously, and Dean and Moses, they always have like these unique people around, and you could say they're not the best in war, and they probably lose against Seaside. They run it back again, but who cares? It's not just about war for me. It's about businesses and also good roleplay and good characters. And yes, Seaside have great roleplay and great characters, but the Mandem just have these, uniqueness to them. They have like this, I don't know. I like the Mandem a lot. You could put them here, you could put them there. It doesn't really matter. You could put them below the Lost. Who cares? They're still A tier to me. A minus, whatever. The Pack. The Pack are prison gang. You know what? Just because they're, for me, very similar. The Pack are more a gang just trying to be different, which is very good. Trying to be different and involving me having a prison gang and getting your jacket in the prison or getting outside of prison is very fun. It's very fun, right? And a lot of people might not think of it, right? They may not think of a gang that's in a prison and anything. I'm not putting them somewhere very high up. They're like D minus, start of E really tier, but just putting them in D tier just because they're I don't want to put them in E because E is like you're kind of trash, right? And they're not trash because they provide great characters, and so do the clowns. So I gotta put them in D tier. Just because I think they think somewhere like no one will think of like, oh, let's form a gang that's in a prison. But they did it. It's just so good. The Vagos are A tier. The Vagos are, for me, still the second strongest gang. Yes, they're still the second strongest gang in the city. Yes, they are. They're still the second strongest gang in the city. I do believe it. And A lot of people will not believe me, but I still think they will. I think without Speedy, they're a very, very strong gang. You can say what you want about the Vagos. They're very connected, and they always will be very connected. Will they go back to S tier in 4.0? Who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe they will. But I don't know. I don't know. There's a few things they need to do. But I would love them to get back and to kind of even get to like 80% of what Chan Gang is, right? That'd be very interesting. The Vagos providing like a very vicious fight. And people say, well, there's already been fights between them and 2.0. Yeah, but I want them to come back even more stronger and provide like having the fight of the century, right? The fight of the century would just be so cool. The Wastelanders, oh my god, the Wastelanders, F tier. Who? Sorry, but who? I don't know. I don't think I could put them ahead of more than F tier. Even the Steck has not been around or better than the Wastelanders. Come on. I don't even know one Wastelander, bro. I'm sorry. I don't even know where they reside. Dance. It hurts me to say E minus. It's the end of E, I guess. The same situation as the Mortel. They're never really around. Barely around. Few members around. They're very much just a street team of Gulag Gang. Yeah, that's all really. Yeah, maybe they'll get better. That's why I'm putting them in E. Maybe they'll be better than. May have more potential than Mortel. They may have more. If more people wake up like Z and all, they may have more potential if they start waking up again. Than the Mortel, I guess. Yeah, just maybe. The Saints, as much as I like this, the Saints look cool and all. I think the Saints are like. I think they're around the same level as the Mayhem. The Saints, again, they're another gang that's there. They're probably strong. They're probably stronger than Mortel, but yeah, I put them maybe ahead of just Mayhem a bit more. Like here, I think they're the start of E and they're the end of E makes more sense because I do think the Saints probably would beat them in war, but again, having more connects, yeah, Mortel probably have more connects. Yeah, no, that makes more sense actually. Makes more sense. The hidden, the end of D. Again, the hidden did roll Wastelanders. The hidden start of V. No, start of D. The end of D. The end of D makes sense. Just they do have a bit of connect members. Now you know what? I'm looking at the future. Yes, they're D. I think honestly they're probably here. Well, I don't know if they were ahead of the. I want to put them these two at the same tier. Yeah, you know what? That makes more sense. I think I got. I really think Mayhem may be actually D tier. Actually, looking at this now. Nah, I think they're E tier. I think this is a decent list. I'm looking at it. I'm trying to look at everything. I don't know if the Mayhem will stick around for a very, very long time. That's my issue with them. I don't know if I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of members may move to different gangs. That's my very big issue. The hidden, I think the hidden will stay. The only thing I can see the hidden is having an alliance with Royal Mafia and becoming like a street team to them. Yeah, but I do think they're a full tier below Royal Mafia. So, like, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest, right? SN and BSK are in this different levels than these three. Let's be honest, right? These are all D minus. Mayhem and the Saints are in different tier than, let's say, Save Your Souls, Dawns, and Mortal. Actually, I'll put the Save Your Souls at the end. Actually, I'll put Save Your Souls in F tier. They haven't really proved themselves. The Mortal have at least been proving themselves a tiny bit, I guess. A little bit. Just because they're kind of being... I don't know much about Save Your Souls, that's the thing. I do know a bit, but they know where they reside, but it's just I don't really know. Okay, now I'm gonna just put this in order. Vagos, Bondi Boys, yeah, I think that's fairly where I want to be. I think the Mandam. Ooh, I think Seaside may be ahead of Gulag Gang, and the Mandam may be a bit of a Gulag Gang. Gulag Gang is more about potential. And the potential of these gangs is there. Seaside still have a lot of potential. Don't get me wrong. Even Ash leaving, they still have a lot of potential. Just because they do. Because, what they already talked about them. Natural Born Kakas. Yeah, this is pretty much how I'll rank that. Natural Born Kakas are not A tier. Royal Mafia for me. Yep. I'm biased. That's biased. Rust, Street Team, Grove Street Balls, The Angels, Marabunta had a GSF, SN, BSK, The Hidden, The Pack, yeah, Mayhem, Saints, Dawns, Mortel, Save Our Souls, and these Wastelanders are, I guess, they're around the blocks. Yeah, I mean, this is pretty much where I would list. So yeah, there we go. These are gangs that I don't think will be around anymore. So PG-18 would be there, and LSD would probably be there, and other gangs that you had maybe one member. These gangs may not be, maybe around in the future. Who knows? These gangs, I think they will be around. It's just they need to prove themselves. These gangs need to work on things. These gangs need just to perfect themselves. These gangs perfected themselves, but they're not the best. And this is the best, right? So yeah. But before we're gonna do that, we're gonna do terms of war. This is war, right? In war terms, this is how I would list. In war terms, this is how I list, right? In war terms, this is how I would list. Yeah, so in war, yep. Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe just as nav as. Yeah, they're still looking at the future stuff on them. Yeah, maybe like that. In terms of war, okay, in terms of war, that Grove Street Ballers there, CB below, HOA below, GSF probably be end of B. In terms of war, Royal Mafia in this makes sense. CB makes sense. Street Team. This is actually, these three are very hard to decide. The Angels will probably be E tier. This is in terms of war I'm trying to do. This is just doing off quickly. In terms of war, F tier. Yeah. Probably even below there. In terms of war, CB probably be. No, HOA probably be here. HOA probably be. Yeah, HOA would probably be the start of C, I guess. I still think they would beat Royal Mafia. SN would probably be... SN in terms of war would probably be here. BSK in terms of war would probably be here in the pack. The Angels, Mayhem maybe here. The Saints maybe here. The Dons, no, the Dons would probably be where they are. The Dons would probably be here. Martel would probably be F tier. Yeah, maybe Wastelanders E tier. Yeah, I think that's yeah, that kind of makes sense. No, Wastelanders got rolled by Hidden, so they couldn't be E tier. Save Our Souls probably E tier. That may be the list. That may be the list. Now the Angels would roll the Dons actually. So there. That'd be a list if war was a thing. The Vagos S tier. I know a lot of people say, how the fuck are the Vagos S tier? Well, the Vagos are S tier in terms of war. Like, they're strong. Them and Chang'an are one of the best in war. A tier. That's how I see war. Actually, you know what? I'll do it like this. There we go. I'll do it like that. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I do it. Back. This is hard because I do want to put I put it like that. I'll put it like that. I really wanted to put it, but I'll put it like that. So this is in terms of war. Oh no, the Lost are definitely not. The Lost are probably like here. No, I do think Grove Street. Nah, maybe not. Maybe not. This is the terms of war though. Like SN, HOA, Royal Mafia, Street Team, BSK, Rust, CB, the Hidden, the Pack, Polito, Mayhem, the Saints, the Angels, Dons, Save Our Souls, and then these are F tier. No, what? No, this is wrong. The Saints and Mayhem would not beat. No, that's wrong. I did that wrong. There we go. That's in terms of war. Actually, CB are actually not known for war at all. So yeah, that's more for war, I would say. Yeah, that's my list of war. If war was a thing, the first list was just overall list. My list overall, I guess. What I think. This is the list if there was just war. So actually no. There. It's so hard to rank these four. Oh my god, it's so hard to rank these four. Because these four are very interchangeable. It depends on the day. So yeah, but that's how I rank it. Okay, I think this is the end of the video. See you guys in the next video. But that's how I rank it. You could honestly switch all these four around and I really don't care. I mean, I'm a big Royal Mafia fan, but you could honestly put them below in the end of C tier. Welcome. I'm gonna do this list because I know I'm like a week later doing this list or something like that. But it's just all wars are over. And I think it's a good summary of doing it. I think just doing this another part. I won't do another part after this. I just want to end this because this is like the ending of like wars that happened and wars that I was enjoying. So Rust and Street Team happened, and also Royal Mafia and CG. So there's also some other wars. Mortel and Venus Flytraps happened. Again, Venus Flytraps, if they were ranked, they'd be still F tier. And there was another war. No, there's another war that's happening next to Grove Street Balls and GSF. But another gang that would be here would be Venus Flytraps and Diamond Dogs. Venus Flytraps don't look that bad to really. Mortel ain't great in war, but Mortel has been around for a while, so you gotta take a look at that. But I think Venus Flytraps, if they stay connected, maybe, who knows? But at this point, I still think there's very questionable things, so a lot of questions to be asked. But I do think they'd be here. They'd be ahead of Wastelanders. I think Wastelanders just, yeah. I don't know if they're going to be around that much at all. I don't know. I think they're going to be one of the first groups to disband. With maybe Save Our Souls and the Dons, possibly. And Mortel, maybe. So, but there's a few changes I made. I put CB back to A. Or I put CB at A. I think CB, looking at it, even though CB, you could say they're not great in war and so on, I still think they can easily rejuvenate that success in war because they're just known, right? I can't put them in the list with HOA, Hydra, GSF. It's just because they could easily get bigger if they wanted to. I think if they wanted to, Lang is just, he's just known throughout the city by literally everyone, so I can't put them in this list. I put Gulag Gang down to B. The reason is, I think, even though Marty's doing a good job, I think they're still, business-wise, they're still, yes, they got the gas station, but I don't think they're, for me, they're not like Mandem. For me, they're not Seaside. For me, they're not the Lost. Lost are creative, and a lot of people don't give them credit for that. They're very creative individuals. So a lot of people don't give them credit. Bondi Boys are Bondi Boys, right? But Gulag Gang is, I still think they still need a little bit of something to put them in the A tier. They're B plus for me. Similar to NBC, they're B plus, but they still need something. And then the other gangs are literally B. Rust I put down to C. Reason why I put down Rusty to C is the War Against Street team. I thought they're gonna win, but they weren't doing that great as much as I saw. They were doing good, but their comms were a bit similar to Royal Mafia's in Wars. But I think the difference is that I might put Royal Mafia in B tier, and I know this will probably get a lot of hate, but I think Royal Mafia are creative bunch, and I watched them pretty much since they were War Against the Blocks. So pre-war, before they were in war against BSF, which would later turn to Dons. The steps they were making, fighting against CG, obviously CG weren't going 100%, like I said that in the previous thing, but the whole thing of them going creative, and that's why I'm remaking doing this again, is that last fight, and I think it's sad that a lot of people didn't see that from other not just CG, but a lot of other people who were not involved in that, like other gangs. I don't think that's ever been done before. The Metal Gear thing, I'm a big fan of Metal Gear, right? I'm a big fan. I love Metal Gear Solid 2 especially. I think it's a fantastic game. And the way they did it with the whole NPC, what's the sound? Whose footsteps are these? It's just so, I love Metal Gear. And Reggie doing the Snake voice is just incredible. It's just incredible. I think Reggie needs to get prio. In my opinion, Reggie and Chevy from Royal Mafia should get prio, in my opinion. They're creative bunch, and I put them in B. I was thinking of putting them in C just because they haven't. The reason why I was putting behind Rust at this point, and right now putting them in B, is the uncertainty with a few members. Remember, there was Zoo Mafia and a lot of members left, like Chicken Head, Soap, Z, and all, and they left. And there's still some OG members like Kayla, Steven, and all, and Bubbles, and there's still that uncertainty of them leaving too. I don't know. That's the only uncertainty I have with the Royal Mafia. And just because they can't really get around that often too, that's a big problem too. That's a big future problem. If Sid leaves, who's gonna go overboard? But just because of their creativeness, right? Just because they think outside the box, and in war, they know they're not as strong as Changang. They know it, but they accept it, and that's what I give credit for. And a lot of viewers will not give credit to that, but I will give credit to Royal Mafia where it counts, And I did give credit a few gangs, like the clowns. Most people will put the clowns in F tier, so people say you're just favoring Royal Mafia. No, the clowns will put them in D tier too, right? Most people will put them in F tier, but I'm not doing what most people do. I'm thinking where they should be, and they should be ranked in D tier. Um, and that's really all the changes I made. I might put the Saints in D tier, but I don't know. But these are mostly the changes I made. And agree or not agree, I think this is a pretty accurate list. I think there's no more accurate list than this. I think that from a VA basis on a viewer that watches or knows a lot about No Pixel and has been watching No Pixel since the start of 3.0 technically, I think this is pretty much an accurate list. I think. I think this is pretty much an accurate list. Agree or disagree, you can say you can put gang app, this person doesn't have a gang app, you could say this person doesn't have a flag, you could say this and this and that, this person is not great in war, but war is based on subjectivity, right? It's based on who you think should get the most downs, right? Who should win war. But war is not all about winning, especially if someone faces someone who's way better than them. So that's just my opinion. Obviously, I think when you see the Royal Mafia, you'll say, how are they ranked the same as NBC, Gulag Gang, HOA, or even Hydra? Maybe not so much GSF or Grocery Balls, because they did get obviously they're not. I don't know if their future is going to be looking bright because they don't have much businesses and they're really known for war. But how are they ranked with these four? This is B plus. This is kind of different rank to these two, and Royal Mafia is just because I have respect for them. So a lot of respect basis on viewer. So there we go. This is my kind of third updated version. I'm not going to do more updates. I don't want to do more updates because it's almost November and I can't be asked anymore, because I know there's going to be a lot more different things that's going to happen. A lot of other gangs may, especially with the Prio system, it may, the couple of the gangs may not be around. So, gangs like the Wastelanders, I could see, Save Our Souls, Martel, the Dons, possibly Mayhem, may not be around anymore. Maybe the Saints, the Hidden. These gangs might not be around much. So, yeah. But this is an update. Hello, welcome to a new video. We're going to do another one of this. This is the last one. This is the part 3. It's literally start of November. I'm not going to do more. So I'm gonna just do a final. SN are kind of disbanded, at least from as I know, and I don't think they're gonna, even if they come back, they're gonna be just like Just Us, or Just Us. So they're gonna be F tier anyway if they do come back as a gang. It's gonna be very hard to come back. So yeah. I gotta put them in F tier. Just looking at the future, they're kind of disbanded as of now. So, yeah, and I know Just Us position is way different than SN's, but still, I put Just Us F tier. Just Us kind of isn't really a thing yet, but they're probably gonna be under the umbrella of CG. So they may Just Us maybe like in the few like 4.0 maybe like could be like D tier again. Again, I don't think they were ever D tier, maybe E tier. And then the guild is F tier, and there's other new gangs that are F tier as well. Yeah, I think we talked about Venus Flytraps. Who else? Diamond Dogs. Don't know. There's probably a bit more. PG-18. They're all here. I was confused PG-18 with PG-99 because there's a post-hardcore band called PG-99. Okay, so I'm gonna put BSK because BSK can't get around as much. I gotta put them in D tier, though. I gotta put Angels to C tier because I feel like even if the Angels they're not the most war gang. They do get a lot of members, and I have to look at the future because the 200 slots do matter, right? The 200 slots do matter, and I think the South gang, so Grocery Ballers, have to go down because I don't think they're doing that well. They're not doing the best. As much as I love the Royal Mafia for its roleplay, and their roleplay is like A tier, maybe S tier for me. But that's just me being biased. I gotta put them down to C tier. Back down to C tier. Just because, again, they have a lot of problem with the train. thingy. So they gotta go in the C tier. I think they're better than the Angels. Most people, how are the Angels lower than Royal Mafia? But in terms of war, Royal Mafia would beat the Angels. And in businesses, I mean, they're an older gang, yes, but the Angels are not known for. Yeah, I think that's perfect. That way is perfect. And everything here, I think GSF are still B tier, but they're on the edge of B tier. Like I said, a lot of Southside is very iffy. It's very iffy. So I think this is kind of a good list in a way. I think Rust are better than Royal Mafia a bit more. I don't think Rust are like clear B tier though. They're like, doesn't matter if you have a gang app. It doesn't mean you're way better than someone else. That's how I view it, right? And I think Royal Mafia is the best small gang of all of them. So they're the best small gang. But again, you can put them behind. You can put Royal Mafia behind Grocery Ballers. You can put them below Marabunta Grande. You can put them below Street Team. Whatever. They're still the best small gang anyway. And BSK is because OTT can't get around. If OTT could get around, they probably would be like here, possibly here. Just because they can't get around, they gotta be there. I think I'll put the Clowns a bit lower than the Hidden. I honestly think the Hidden would honestly put up a fight at this point with the BSK. At this point with how the BSK are. I think the Pack, I'm going to put them ahead of the Saints. The Saints are close to E tier for me. Obviously, you can put the Clowns. How the Clowns, if you're looking at war and everything. It's just, I'm also looking at roleplay as well. And how the characters, how I love them. You know, Chatterbox, Kirk, they're very fun. Yes, they don't get into big wars and their problem not would be. But their wars are going to be creative and fun. You got to look at it that way. Yes, for most people, they'll be F tier. Some may put them E tier. I honestly wouldn't mind put them even here. Like, I don't really care. I don't think they're C tier though. But I think for a gang I think a gang should exist like this. There should be a tiers of gangs existing. There should be a gray tier, someone like the Clowns, someone like Martel. You know, a lot of these gangs should exist because there should be kind of. You can't be an equal gang all the time because then there would be no aspirations. You know, there would be no goals to reach because every gang would be equal. Like it's understandable if cars were equal, right? Because that's understandable in a different way. But it's not understandable if a gang is equal, in my opinion. I think everyone should look at Chang. Someone should look up to a gang like Chang Gang, Bago, Seaside, Mandem, The Lost, Bondi Boys, CB. You know, people should look up to these gangs because they're the gangs that make up the city, you know. They're the gangs that are big. They're big gangs, you know. But most of these gangs are North gangs, right? Well, not all of them. Like Chang Gang is, Mandem is, Lost is, Bondi Boys is, CB is, you know, Gulag Gang, NBC, HOA. A lot of these gangs are Northside Gang, Hydra. All of you know, they're Northside gangs. The really only Southside gangs in this list is Vagos, Seaside-ish, and GSF. Everything else is very average or even lower. So yeah, this is my list though. I'm gonna end up this list like this. I don't think there's any. I think Sinister Souls have been even gone way. I have to put this like this. Like I don't even know Sinister Souls exist even. So. SN don't exist, but SN, there's obviously an opportunity of SN coming back. I guess I'll put them at the start of F tier. There's obviously an opportunity of SN coming back. Obviously, I still think they're going to be better than all these gangs because Blacks, I mean, the Blacks come here and there. But he has Mike Block has his 150 gang, B50 gang. Like, he has his own gang. Wastelanders, I don't even know Wastelanders even exist anymore. They're probably like Sinister Souls. And these gangs, I feel like most of these gangs are on the verge of breaking up. I think Saver Souls is probably going to be like Seaside's B team. Martel, you know, I barely see Martel ever. The Dons, yeah, you know, the Dons and Martel is similar range for me. And then Mayhem. But yeah, I kind of already made this list. I just wanted to make a last recap because there's been some things going on. And yeah, this is going to be my final complete list of how I think this list is. And I don't think I'm going to do next one until like spring, maybe summer, spring. I hope by then I could be on. No, I really want to be on, but you know, we'll see. So this is the list.